Hello everyone, good evening. Today is October 9th. Welcome to another episode of Ripster Daily Trade Recaps and Market Review. So guys, we were gapping down in the market in the morning, and then we were in a gap down. Everybody was expecting that we will fade because news. But market had its own plans, and market after the midday it squeezed, and we'll talk about it. So we'll talk about a few things today. Our main discussion will be what was the today's setups. Today's setups were gap down, gap fills, how they worked out, how was our morning. We'll talk about a loss in the morning and then small trades in the morning, and then how in the midday we had nice trades on Nvidia and Tesla. And we'll talk about how the VIX filled the gap to the downside and the market filled the gap to the upside and squeezed further. We'll talk about how it's so important to review the news in detail, be ready, and not to make a bias just on the news, but make a bias based upon your system, based on your technicals. So we'll go through it, how we were ready in the pre-market, which stocks and which sectors were moving today, and what was our plan. We'll go through that. Before we do that, guys, quick peek at the market. So let's see, looks like, okay. So NASDAQ futures, guys, we have been watching this chart for a few days now. It has been consolidating at this critical level. And today it finally, it made a move up, which means it reclaimed 50 EMA that we can still push higher if this level sustains, because earnings season is coming up. So I won't be surprised if there's no other bad news or something crazy news out of Israel, or if there's something like US getting involved, if something like that doesn't come up, market will be fine. So right now the technicals are showing us a reversal on the market. So they are showing us a reversal, and we'll see how that goes. If we look at the SPY today, SPY got over 512 EMA Clouds, right? It's all, whenever price gets over yesterday's highs, it's always a great trigger, for the next leg up. So tomorrow we'll watch today's highs on SPY. So as you see, SPY, QQQ, both moving up. If you look at the QQQ, we already looked at the NASDAQ future, same thing. It's kind of a 3 times bounce or from the neckline, and QQQ is also getting over 50 EMA Cloud. So kind of a bullish reversal. Ideally, when we see this bullish reversal, any pullbacks needs to hold, and we push higher. I am looking at some names which I'll talk about later for earning run ups. One of our stock is already running up. That article I will posted through Benzinga News. You might have seen it. Netflix I'm talking about, it's already working. We'll talk about a few things. Are we ready for the swing? What will be our swings? We'll talk about that a little bit in the end. So this was the market today, guys, SPY and QQQ. So we'll talk about the individual names as always. I'm all day on the voice on my community platform, updating about how the market is doing. And by the way, we also did this nice penny stock trade from 2. We will talk about that as well. So all right, guys, let's start. Okay, so was up in the morning as always, up 45 minutes before, making our pre-market notes. We have a pre-market notes. We were looking at a lot of names. We were looking at defense names. We were looking at defense names strong because of the war or the conflict in Hamas and Israel. And then airlines were weaker, cruise lines were weaker because of the oil prices going up. Maybe that's the reason. But that was on our watch list. Disney was on our watch list because of having I did miss few things today. My analyst upgrade scanner didn't bring me some, so I did miss a couple of them, but we had most of them. So Tesla had some bad news as well because of EV numbers out of China were down. Then there was news on Zscaler, which was upgraded. It was on our watch list. So Zscaler was on watch list, was upgraded. It was right here. And then of course the defense stocks were there. So and I discussed the morning, we discussed the morning plan, the morning news, the wake up news, just like this. You see that what's the plan for the day. A morning summary gets us ready for the day. So we are always ready. Whatever happens, we are ready. So that you need to, this is the everyday routine, guys. If you don't have a routine, build a routine. Do not trade without a routine. You cannot come in the market right at right when market opens and trade it. That's not how it works. So anyways, defense stocks were on our watch list: Boeing, LMT, GD, and RTX. These were on the watch list. Watch list was ready. Here you go. You see that the market indicators, we are always tracking SPY, QQQ, 10-year yields, VIX, and US dollar. Israel-based companies were taking a hit, so we took a note of them as well. So here you go, guys. The levels were ready from the morning. If you want to take a look, take a screenshot on the levels. So the key levels that worked today were mostly on Meta, Meta levels, and we'll talk about a few other levels here. Let me show you. So let's see. So if we talk about, so today was, because it was a gap down day, guys, what was the setup personality? It was a gap down day. So what is your risk? Your risk is always pre-market lows, the gap lows, the pre-market lows is always your risk, just like you see here what happened on QQQ. So on Meta, our support was 311, 311.90. So look here, that was your risk, 311, 311.90. And it never broke that. So you mean if you're trying to go long and then it gets over the pivot, what was my pivot? Where was my pivot on Meta? My pivot was 313.40 and 314. These were all my pivots, right? So these were all my pivots over EMA Cloud in the gap, and Meta pushed full into the gap. Was not my personal trade, but that's what our traders do. They know the levels, they see the levels, the rules are clear. Every day I spend time to create these levels, and trades like Meta is where they nail it. So you don't need anybody to alert you. You have your levels, you have your system, you have your risk, clear risk on Meta, right? Clear risk on Meta. If you entered Meta right at open, risk just less than $1, and you made more than $7-8. One risk to 6-7 reward trade on Meta, right? So this is what is important, talking about levels. And VIX. So VIX, today's strategy was clear. The level again was, so anyways, so those were our levels. Let's look at the VIX. So VIX today's strategy was clear. It was all about this level of 19 rejection and 1850. Let's look at it. Yeah, 19 will give us a direction today. That was the key, and that's how we longed. That's how it was supposed to be longed. Tesla was gapping down, was initially bearish on Tesla. VIX 19 was what we were watching. We were watching Rivian to pop. Disney we were watching to hold the EMA Clouds for long, which actually bounced, but it bounced later. Didn't give me a setup to get in, but it tried to fill the gap. So you see, always when they fill the gap, they bounce. So we knew the Fed speakers are going to speak, so that was on the watch. So first trade I took was Boeing. I took it Boeing right out of the gate. Small size. Did not work out, so had to take a loss quickly, right? So Boeing was trying small. 189 breakout was what I was expecting. It gave me 189 breakout, pushed to 189.50 and failed back, right? And that's why I know when this is happening, it's supposed to be strong. Defense stocks are strong. It's supposed to be strong, but it's still weak, right? So I knew that something is not right. So then I was out in first 20 minutes. You see, I was out of Boeing in first 20 minutes, right? So we entered at 9:30. I was at 9:40. I had to, as soon as it was breaking EMA Clouds, I was out, right? Took an entry here and I won 88.80, and then almost less than $1 loss and out. If I didn't take my loss, guess what? I would have given up another $2. So that is also very important, to respect your risk, right? If trade is not working, get out. And that's, you see, I just said right there, not interested in getting out. And that's fine. We have big days and we have these slow days, and then we just need to manage them. You can't hope and think that, oh, maybe it works, right? Anyways, so once Boeing loss was taken, I moved on, and then I was focusing more on Tesla and some other names, although Z-Strike and cybersecurity stocks were going, because in the pre-market we talked about the upgrade on Zscaler, on not my personal trade. CrowdStrike is our swing, that's working nicely. But yeah, Zscaler was strong. You see, it was an upgrade in the pre-market, and it was strong right out of the gate, right out of the gate. That's why we build the watch list, so that anybody can play anything they want. So we had some nice trades in the first hour. We had a QQQQ long and SPY long. You see, SPY was strong, and that's what I was mentioning on the call in the morning. SPY was strong, QQQ was strong. So those were the first trades. If you see, if I talk about SPY, you know, so SPY was strong. Then we'll talk about this as well. QQQQ bounce. That's a big trade of the day. I will talk about. So okay, so I was booking the profits on SPY. So let's see, I can show you. Okay, so this was, so as soon as VIX started to break down, that was my signal to take SPY long. So you see, I was saying QQQQ bullish bias, right? And SPY was filling the gap. I was on the voice talking about SPY long, QQQ long scalps, SPY both bullish bias, SPY target 429, hit our 429 and little more target, right? QQQ long was working, filled half of the gap almost, right? You can see here, you can always draw the Fibonacci's, guys. Always draw Fibonacci's to understand where can be your levels from yesterday's close to maybe this to today's open, or maybe you can do it, you know, morning's lows. You can just try whatever, you know, whatever works. No hard and fast rule. So these were the Fibonacci levels. So you see the first trade, SPY QQQ trades were long in the morning. Microsoft, I told everybody to long versus the pre-market levels when I saw the strength. Anytime you are longing a gap down, pre-market low should be your ultimate risk. You have to keep sizes small till the time your trend system tells you that trend is changing and it's pushing higher, right? So same thing we were doing for, so Microsoft, the same thing was doing for Tesla, right? Initially I told Tesla to have a risk at 254, right? And then it flushed, and we did not take Tesla long until later in the day, because Tesla was weak all morning. It was weak. My initial bias was bearish because it was rejecting 3450 EMA. You know, I missed that short ad. It was rejecting, but all day Tesla was our guidance. If I show you, so yeah, that was the later when we went Tesla long. I will talk about that in a bit. So yeah, so you see, even though I was bearish bias, but I know some people are trying to long, so I was telling them it's a B minus long, right? Because it was going down. But at the same time, when it was going down, there was so much call flow coming in. Look, I mentioned 110 call flow coming in. It was on the scans. I was not taking a position that time, but it was notable that they are buying call flow. There was coming in. You know, on the short side, I was giving my targets because some people were short. 250 was ultimate target, but it, you know, it bounced. Why? Because Nasdaq became stronger suddenly, and VIX failed suddenly. So that's when we change. Look carefully here. Nice curl with the market as VIX failed over EMA Clouds, right? Over EMA Clouds. So that was the signal that it is going to go into the gap right here, into the gap fill trade. So now if I just show you the comments on Tesla, nice push over EMA Clouds, price alerts hitting. My next target was 258.57. Then my next target was 259. The next target was 260. You know, I said lock most at 260. And then it came down. It came down from the 260 target that held the trend. And then they swiped it right back, you know. Swiped it right back. Here is the recap of Tesla, you know, all the comments since it curled. See why it curled. Why did it curl? Because market was bouncing. So I will show you how. At the same time we were longing QQQ. So this was Tesla. So what I'm showing you right now, guys, is our midday trades, right? Midday. So if you look here, let's see. Okay, so when this happened, right, it tried to break, watch, it tried to break it tried to break, but then it reclaimed, right? It reclaimed. What was the time here? 11:20, and I said that 11:23 bounce versus PM lows when it was reclaiming. Just watch the VIX, and that's what happened. B minus long setup pushed over 3450, became a B plus long setup. Then SPY was filling the gap, was stronger, still stronger than QQQ, and then QQQ started to meet our targets. Then I said log sum versus pre-market lows. Beautiful move since it turned from B minus to B plus. Not a bad for midday trade. Gap fill there will log sum, right? So SPY QQQ, both midday curls. You see my comments. That's why, we talk about B plus, A plus. Usually doesn't happen. Usually we chop, we chop around. But today market was strong as soon as it got back into this level. I want you guys to focus on this level, this pre-market, this level, resistance, breakout, fail back over resistance, push, break this resistance, hold 512 EMA clouds, push. Here resistance, push back, held by support the pre-market lows, and then reclaimed 512 EMA clouds, and then push, held 512 EMA clouds, then push the main resistance gap fill or the target met, then break out of that, big squeeze, push. So another thing I noted when this push happened, I noted there was a flow coming down. And what was happening? VIX was filling the gap down. Market was filling the gap up. VIX was filling the gap down. Guys, it's so easy concept. I mean, all you have to do is to follow these variables, right? And right in front of you, we traded NVIDIA. We traded QQQ. Let me show you the NVIDIA. So because you could trade any curl, right? When this happened, the people in the community were long Microsoft. Somebody was long Netflix. Netflix bounced from 3450. Somebody was long Meta. Meta bounced from 3450. Right here you can see, you can basically long anything, right? When this happens. So I chose to long NVIDIA. So here's the NVIDIA recap. Good curl candidate versus 444 risk. Risk 444, move stops to 446, next target 450, move stops over, next target 450, and then took everything off, 1/3 left, then it pushed to 454, next target 454, $6 on NVIDIA from 446 area, risk of $2, made $6, one risk to 3 rewards. So that was the trade, guys, right? So that was the trade. QQQ targets, SPY targets, all right in front of you guys. So was very proud of this. I was actually very proud of this because, I was on top of this reversal in the midday. You don't get these moves very often, guys. These midday moves don't really come. But we played our setup. What was our setup today? Gap down, gap fill. Gap down, gap fill. Risk was pre-market lows. Initially B minus, before the trend, after the trend became a B plus. So that was it, guys. That was important today. Okay, some other trades which were working today was PLTR. PLTR, the room was long on PLTR, so that was pretty good. It was nice call by people on the floor. You can see we have amazing community. We don't miss anything that's moving. So PLTR was great. That was very good by our community. And yeah, finally all the defense names that were on my watch, they finally moved, right? LMT dipped. I think I gave risk levels, right? I gave risk levels on LMT 416. So it dipped to 423, never really came to EMA Clouds, and then it pushed. Boeing was a flop trade, then RTX was there, then NOC was there, right? So I personally couldn't do that, but I got some nice DMs. People were able to trade them based upon their execution, their rules, their style, and that's all about it. All right. So yeah, so those were, guys, bunch of the trades we did today. I mean, really, if it was not for midday trades, this day would have been tough. It was not really a great day. Yeah, made a little bit in the morning, SPY QQ, but there was nothing much happening if this was not the case. And this was Microsoft. So talking about few other names, guys, Netflix. So Netflix, so we talked about, if you see on, so we had this article about Netflix by yours truly. So I posted this idea, and I even published on various trading platforms, which was published on Benzinga. It was all over. But my point was that I shared was this risk area, the 370 area, and that's why we added it as a swing for tenant. We have a swing tracker. That's where we track all our swings. Okay, so we track our swings there. So this was our swing tracker. We see here our swing tracker. So Netflix was our 370 entry is 385 now, so very nice. CrowdStrike is also our swing, so that is nice as well. We track them for the community. So few other names that I like, guys, I discussed today were Roku. I like this Roku. Already few people in the community have a position on the Roku, but once it gets over 72 area convincingly, we can push to 74.50. So nice reversal, earnings November 1. That's why I like Roku. Other one I like is Shop, because it has been consolidating against 50.51 for some time. If it gets over 512 EMA Cloud, market little more strong, we can push toward 55 and maybe then 56.50. So then third one that I like is TTD. TTD was already my my idea on Twitter X. I posted about it. This breakout, I think we talked about it, and it's already working to 84 breakout. So looking at AMD, AMD was this chart idea breakout that has been working nicely. You can see what's the reasoning behind this move. Boeing is making a similar kind of setup, but I don't know when they'll start buying Boeing. You can see this downward channel. I will hide these. So you can clearly see this downward channel. What a beautiful downward channel it is, right? So those are the few names I'm watching. If I want to talk about some other names which were strong from our October 9 watch list. Let's see if we can see anything else that was strong. Maybe something is strong. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, WW was on our swing watch, had some news moving. I still like this name for a breakout eventually over 1217. PLTR, AFRM. This is what our AFRM is. PLTR broke out of a nice range today, curling. So I like that to push higher in towards 20 area. Watch pullbacks to 1680s to get a position, right? So Affirm is still at resistance, so have to wait. Maybe tomorrow if it gets over 19. Real trade is over 20. We'll keep eyes on that. Okay, so Okta is one from our watch list which made a big move today. Completely missed it. You can see it went over this 50 EMA. It went over 50 EMA and it continued to push right here. This was our watch list we created some time back. UPST started to base at 25, risking 25, 50, 25 area. We can definitely have some good run into the November 7 earnings. All right, so CELH versus 150, that I like. Definitely a good bounce, because 150 psych level on CELH should be a risk. Any pullback toward that should be added, and it should at least push to 160s, 170s target. I really like this name, growth name. We talked about it earlier, and this CELH. Check my Twitter. I posted about it. So let's see what else is. Mara Right are okay. I don't follow too much on the Bitcoin plays. This DOCN I am watching, basing versus if it turns over 23. Netflix we are already swinging. Meta was swinging towards 33. Chipotle, J&J. Yeah, J&J I like. So J&J I like. We'll like to see. J&J earning coming up October 17th, guys. So might have to work on some this already moving, yeah. So need to keep eyes on that. Crocs, finally some support, maybe little more consolidation, right? So we'll see. So yeah, I mean, I didn't want to make this video as a swing video, but that's why I'm just trying to cover, going through it fast. So SMCI is already my swing, is our 10-minute swing. So a breakout of 290 into the gap. There's a nice gap here, 300 breakout, 290, 300 definitely has a room to 300. So already holding a swing. We'll see if I want to add more. Okay, other one I wanted to discuss was CRM. I talked about this 200 psych level. Good risk reward, any pullbacks towards 200, good to buy, hold as long as it holds this 198, 200 for a push to 210. Okay, Roku we already discussed. AI, well, AI is still in the channel, basing at 2340. If breaks the channel, can definitely push. The reason I'm talking about these names is so market is showing some kind of trend. If it maintains the trend into earnings, we can definitely see some moves on some of these swing names. But I'm not putting too much exposure right now, but just good to review. You know, these are some few I like. JP Morgan is good. Shop I already talked about. Rivian, yeah, I mean, it's sold off too much actually. You know, I'm just gonna wait on Rivian. There's a gap support here actually if somebody wants to bounce it, but I'll wait on Rivian. Robulux was my swing, as most of you know. Got, you know, I got stopped out, respected my 26, but it went squeezed back up. That's where I missed it. Now either pullbacks to 28 should be a good entry. All right, I really like, guys. Once it gets over 512 EMA Clouds, over 30, you know, putting some price alerts on we should get some move on as well. Okay, so what else is there? Yeah, so SE, already my swing. I talked about it a few times. Yeah, it's just consolidating now. But anyways, guys, just wanted to discuss few of these names that I like. And I might have to do a separate video on detailed swing watches. Whatever swings we take, we put it in our 10-minute swing tracker. We let our community know. Never a financial advice, just sharing ideas, learning together, trying to make some money together. That's all about it, guys. Come join our community if you want to trade with me, with great traders, great team we have. Or else I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Netflix, we talked about this earning runs up idea. You know, earning run up idea. If you see, so there's this, you know, there's this article. So we had this. Come on.